Yes, Angry Welshman back again. Now, this is another video done by Level Earth Observer. Okay? Now, this is an individual who is incredibly arrogant to the sense where he thinks that just because his crane doesn't move, that he's debunked the Foucault pendulum, and that just because his crane isn't moving towards like some tonnage on a building, he thinks that he's already debunked that mass attracts mass. Get a grip. Dude, I mean, really. Get a goddamn grip. Right? It's not that fucking easy, excuse my language. Right? You know, the fact that you have the barefaced cheek to fucking essentially assume that all this aspect of science has been proven wrong by you just because your crane doesn't move. It doesn't work like magnetism, you moron. Essentially, we're in Earth's gravitational sort of interference. We're in Earth's mass, right? There's a reason why the Cavendish experiment is done on extremely small scale, because it proves the point. And it takes a while for the Cavendish experiment to actually sort out what it's doing. What I find quite funny about this, and what angers me the most, is that flat earthers will quite easily go, "No, the Cavendish experiment is a piece of crap," just because it proves that mass attracts mass, and actually proves the sort of the concept of gravity and all this kind of stuff. But then you'll quickly and easily champion other sort of experiments like the Michelson-Morley experiment, the Michelson-Gale experiment, Airy's failure, and many others to suggest, well, these experiments prove that the Earth doesn't rotate, even though they don't. Those experiments were there to prove the existence of ether, and they failed. They couldn't find it at all. But for some reason, flat earthers have got it in their heads that this proves that the that these experiments prove that the Earth doesn't rotate, even though it doesn't suggest that whatsoever. But then they quickly, sort of dismiss those experiments or dismiss those claims as, because D Marble, I've told D Marble a million times, but he doesn't like to listen because I've got a minuscule amount of subscribers. I'm on to the point of subscribers, actually. Hey, Nathan Oakley. You attacking the fact that I only have 340 subscribers or something, that's meaningless. That doesn't hurt me at all, buddy. I'm quite chuffed at the fact that I have 340 subscribers, to be quite honest with you. Yes, I would have liked this channel to get bigger years ago, but this isn't the be-all and end-all. At least I have some truths in my video, not videos full of bullshit like yours. And to actually point out something about the subscribers and stuff on my channel, I have 340 subscribers. Now I get the actual viewer ratings are quite low at the minute, like 50, 60 views or something like that. However, back in the day when I was about a year ago, I used to get 100 or so views or more. I mean, one video I think I had 1,000 views on it, and I only had like 340 subscribers. So there we go. And you, as far as I'm aware, you've got about 15,000 subscribers, 17,000 subscribers, but you very rarely go above 2,000 views per video. So what's your subscribers doing? So for some reason, then you're only getting 2,000 views. That means about what? Let's say you got what was it? 15. I'm just guessing here. I think it's about 17,000. Let's just say 17,000 subscribers to be kind. Well, that means about 15,000 of your subscribers aren't bloody watching your videos. So to tout that you've got, you've got an impressive amount of subscribers is horseshit, my friend. Because most of your subscribers aren't even watching your videos. So get wrecked. Right? Let's get back onto this point. Okay? Now, he did a couple of videos a short bit ago, like this, for example. I've talked about this, where he just thinks about Mars the entire time, and then he goes like, "Oh, I don't want to go to Mars. I've never been interested in it." Well, that's you. And then he goes, "What is there to do on Mars? There's no shopping centre." Really? There's the concept of doing science on Mars to get it livable, so people can live. We can have, eventually sustain a, society on Mars. Eventually, take a while, but there we go. this is flat Earth, what is gravity, blah blah blah. Right? But one of them was like the horizon kills the globe and all this kind of stuff. Now, Mr. Sensible did a video on this showing that you only need at the height, was it like 80,000 feet or something? And he found out that at that height that you only need to look down by about 3.5 degrees or something like that, right? Actually, let's have a look. Let's just get this correct. Let's turn that off. So they were 39,000 feet. 39,000 feet. So they weren't 80,000, they were 39,000 feet. So even at that height, you only need to look down by about 3-point-something degrees. Now he's chosen to go on this one, which is missing 48 miles of curvature for some reason. And he does in this video also talk about, oh, look at that horizon, looks flat. Yes, that's such a minuscule amount of it. That's, you know, that's, you're not going to see anything from there. Alright? He talks about, well, this is the apparent eye level. Well, how do you know it's high level? What, just because it's bloody centered in the bloody, centered roughly in the middle of the hatch here, you're simply assuming that that's eye level. Which that will be no longer the case. And also you need to understand that at this height, the horizon will be much further away than it was at 39,000 feet. He is now at 127,000 feet, so he's about 90,000 feet higher. So the horizon's not only further away, so even if you have to look, let's say, 6 degrees down, it's going to be hardly noticeable at those types of distances. Right? So you've brushed off, you know, many people explaining this to you. You have the barefaced cheek to say Mr. Sensible is finished, even though he has debunked you many times. But this is your arrogance showing through. How will you know? How do you know that's eye level? You're just assuming that that's eye level. You know what I mean? This is my problem. You've simply assumed that that's eye level and gone, yep, that's good. That means the horizon rises to your eye level. Boom, done. Even though it showed that you don't. Like, even in this picture, you're not going to notice at the distance this horizon is, you're not going to notice a drop of, like, say, 10 degrees at that sort of distance. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. Right? This is, you know, there is no teaching the dumb. The globe was finished years ago in your dreams. Honestly. Where was that thing? Here we go. I left a message here. I left it now a second ago. Exactly, Edward. I used to show people too, showing a flat horizon at eye level from 24 miles high, proving Bumgardner was above a continuous level plane. Oh well, then the other flat Earth proponents with a dome aren't going to like that, are they? Also, the time it took him to ascend 24 miles, jump and land, he only landed a few miles from where he took off. If Earth was spinning 1,000 miles, he would have landed over 2,000 miles where he took off. Yes, you do understand that we're rotating with the Earth. Right? We're rotating with it. And even as we ascend, we're still rotating with it. And even when you're like hundreds of thousands of feet high, you're still going to be rotating with it. It's not until external forces, so let's say, you know, a rocket that makes us move the other direction, is that when we stop rotating with it, or we rotate in another direction, or we rotate slower, or whatever. But even if we're going 100,000 feet high, we're still rotating with it. You're simply, how many times has it been said that the atmosphere rotates with the Earth? They're simply assuming that the Earth is meant to be rotating beneath their feet as they ascend. But that's not the case, and this has been explained to them so many times, and they're just not listening. And I'm getting a little angry with this sort of stuff, because I've had the sort of thing on Twitter recently where I had to block him, and I don't do that. So he's a religious individual, and he literally linked me to about 24 He gave me 24 tweets that were all just small little passages from the Bible that sort of, that interpreted in a certain way could say that the Earth was flat, even though it doesn't say that at all. It's just their interpretation of it. Right? And that they just don't listen. Like, I'm still getting flat earthers, and I will make a video on this at some point. I'm still getting flat earthers, sort of mirror and share. Oh, look at these, out of focus images of stars. Look at the sun rays, or they point towards the sun. The ones that still think they can see clouds behind the sun. That the moon it does its own light and all this kind of bull crap. I'm still getting tons of this shit. And it's just, they just don't want to listen. Like, this guy now bathes in his own arrogance, where he genuinely believes that, because he's sitting his ass on a crane, and, his crane doesn't do what he thinks it should do based on the science that he is misrepresenting. And he talks about in one of his latest videos, he talks about like fragility of I think it was this one where he talks about how fragile the system really is. It's not. What it is, like, I think he said there's some sort of problem with his video, so he's assuming that YouTube are doing something. Right? And you're the one that misrepresents science. You're the one that gets it wrong. Your understanding of it is nowhere near the sense of reality. That you talk about, what was it now? Where was Mr. Sensible? Yeah, your pal Captain Sensible is finished. He hasn't got a fucking Scooby-Doo regards reality, and neither have you following such a clown. The globe is dead. No, dude, he gave a scientific, like in the last video when he debunked you, he gave a scientific sort of bit of research to how many degrees you would be looking down, and you're not going to notice that sort of drop, and he proved that. He showed that the amount of degrees you're looking down is going to be nothing. So how is he finished? What, just because you disagree with him? Just because you're so dense that you've decided, nah, doesn't matter what anyone else explains to me, they're all wrong, just because out of principle. Dude, I'm sorry, flat Earth's finished. And I know, and we can provide all the evidence in the world, you're still not going to listen. End of. You're not going to listen. I'm still waiting for flat earthers to sort of explain to me how the star trails work on a globe. But yet they won't. Because the one thing, and I still don't understand why they say this is proof. They say, oh yeah, it does prove flat Earth. Where you stand on let's just say you were standing on the North Pole, and you look directly up, you see the northern star trails, don't you? Well, how is it possible, if I move towards roughly the equator, I'm still seeing the northern star trails do a perfect circle? That makes no sense. It would become like almost a flat, it would almost become like an extreme ellipse by that point. If that was truly the case, if it's the dome doing it. But no, to explain that way. And I had somebody on Twitter actually, with a straight face, because I'm assuming he had a straight face, actually tell me that there are no southern star trails. They don't exist. I think Eric Dubé's actually said that also. There aren't any southern star trails, even though there quite clearly are. And it's just all these people on here like, good job, great stuff, mate. And it's all these people that have got like flat earth names as well. Like, fresh look at the truth. What truth? I haven't a bloody idea. Earth is round, I saw it on TV, I think it was a cartoon from NASA. The look that people give me when I ask them to show me it's round. Oh, rockets push off air. No, that's not how rockets work, you dumbass. That's another thing. On one of his other videos about Mars, he just like explained to me how rockets work in a vacuum. Again, it's the assuming that they need air to push off. It's like when you let go a power hose and you let it go, and the power hose goes absolutely pretty crazy and flies everywhere. Right? That's not because the water's pushing off the air. That's made of the weight of the water that's basically been thrown out the nozzle. It's got nothing to do with pushing off air, which is the point that people are trying to get across. But it doesn't matter. You can explain to them how these things aren't the case, but they just don't want to listen. They still bring up these points, even though they're no longer factual points, to try and prove their point. You know, like the second law of thermodynamics. Even though the second law of thermodynamics doesn't actually dictate there needs to be a physical barrier, but they still seem to think that it needs to be. The only reason why it has that sort of diagram showing the second law of thermodynamics have hard lines, you know, drawn in lines and, you know, actual drawn barrier is because it's easier to visualize. Done. But the second law of thermodynamics does not actually dictate there needs to be a physical barrier. You know? But, you know, there we go. I'm going off on a tangent here. But one day now I'll try and make a video where I sort of list the sort of stuff that's been explained and debunked to flat earthers numerous times, but they still bring it up. You know, so yeah, this is like sort of an angry little thing for me. You know, just all these people here. Look, you know, good man Adam, keep them coming. I never get a notification for your channel videos. I wonder why. Well, you probably haven't clicked the fucking bell properly. I don't think YouTube really care about somebody like Level Earth Observer, who's only got 3.4 thousand subscribers. I don't really think they really care about hiding viewerships from anyone. He would be hundreds of miles away if the Earth was a spinning ball. Lol. I don't know if you've seen this before. It goes nicely with Felix's jump view. Shows how absurd the globe is. Let's have a look at this then. What's he shown? Oh, I see. This is what they're... But like I said, this is you. You're not probably taking this probably isn't taking the human eye field of view into account or many aspects of the camera. Right? You're probably only going to be noticing this part of the horizon due to your size and scale. So, see, again, these models are egregious. These are assuming. Now, it's been shown many times that the horizon does drop. It generally does. Now, like, I want a flat earther to explain to me, you know, where's their proof and evidence that all the videos we have of the ISS are fake? Come on, I'll be waiting. I think I'll be waiting forever. See, airspeed 1,354 miles per hour. Sun diameter, what? I don't... Sun diameter 40 miles. Position people do in Aries and altitude. So again, they've got the sun as being 4,708 miles up. But again, that's not much curve, is it? Add the atmosphere to this. So this is the physical horizon. That's the point here, right? This is my point. If you add atmosphere to this, the curve will even become less pronounced, right? And probably the horizon that you see when you're at that altitude will probably be about here. If you get my point. It'll be like halfway up the line again. So, you know, that's just me. Right, I'll be blabbing on for ages now if I keep on going, and these videos are kind of boring. I hope to do more sort of decent stuff, but I haven't got any money at the minute, and I I don't think I'm going to do Patreon. I might think about it, but then again, if I do Patreon, I'll have to really do regular videos. I wouldn't mind doing like 3 a week to really make sure that I'm getting the most out of Patreon, and I'll try and save up using Patreon to like get some, you know, better software. I'm not going to go for the full-blown sort of expensive stuff, but just some simple stuff that I can, you know, Patreon will help me probably get like a decent camera. Well, actually, no, not a camera, because I don't really need to show my face, do I? And I don't want a P1000 because, you know, that's just unnecessary. But it can help me get like better sound recording equipment, so like a good microphone. You know what I mean? And some editing software, perhaps, that's, you know, cheaper sort of stuff that I can, you know, then start to cut and edit some videos and whatever have you. But we'll see how it goes. But that's just my little angry ranty video going on at the minute. So yeah, so his sort of proof videos really aren't proof at all. It's just him still denying and assuming many aspects, but never mind, we can keep on going. Right, so hopefully I'll be back again, and I'll see you all again. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.